Some days feel steady on the surface. You're eating regular meals, choosing foods that look balanced, and doing what you've always been told is healthy. And yet something still feels off. Energy fades earlier than expected. Strength doesn't quite hold through the day. And small tasks can feel more tiring than they should. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many adults over 60 are eating meals that look healthy, but still feeling under-supported. And often, protein is the quiet piece missing from the picture. Have you ever looked at your plate and thought, this should be enough? If so, that thought makes sense. But the body's needs after 60 don't always match how meals appear on paper. Protein doesn't announce itself loudly when it's low. It doesn't always show up as hunger or obvious weakness right away. Instead, it shows up gradually, in how steady you feel from hour to hour. After 60, the body relies more heavily on protein to maintain strength, balance, and energy. But at the same time, digestion and absorption become less efficient. So even meals that seem adequate may not be delivering what the body actually needs. This creates a subtle mismatch. Meals look nutritious, but the body feels less resilient, and that gap can be confusing. There is a reflective space we often enter when things don't feel quite right. You might look back at how your body responded 10 or 20 years ago, remembering a time when a simple salad or a light snack provided all the fuel you needed for an entire afternoon of activity. It is natural to try and apply those same rules today, expecting the same results because the habits themselves feel virtuous and correct. But there is a quiet wisdom in recognizing that the right choice isn't a fixed point in time. It shifts as we go through life and as we age. It requires us to listen not just to what we were taught in the past, but to how our muscles and our energy levels are speaking to us in the present moment. This isn't about correcting a mistake, it's about evolving alongside our own biology. It's about making peace with the fact that our foundations require a different kind of reinforcement now, and that acknowledging this change is an act of self-respect rather than a sign of slowing down. Protein plays a unique role compared to other nutrients. It supports muscle repair, immune function, and blood sugar stability. It also helps the body recover from normal daily stress. When protein intake dips too low, the body adapts quietly at first. Muscle tissue renews more slowly. Energy regulation becomes less stable. You might notice feeling weaker without losing weight, or more tired even though you're eating regularly. Those are common signs of low protein availability. There's a quiet pattern many people recognize. Meals feel light and healthy, but they don't hold you. Energy slips sooner than expected. That doesn't mean the meals are bad. It means one key element may be underrepresented, and protein often gets crowded out by foods that digest faster. After 60, the body doesn't hold on to muscle as easily. Without enough protein, muscle loss can occur gradually and unnoticed. This process doesn't always change the scale, but it changes how the body functions. Have you ever felt less steady even though your routine hasn't changed? That shift can be related to protein intake. Strength and balance depend on consistent muscle support. Protein also affects how the body manages blood sugar. Without enough of it, meals can digest too quickly. That leads to energy spikes followed by dips. You may notice feeling alert right after eating, then suddenly drained, or hungry again sooner than expected. Those swings are often protein-related, not calorie-related. There's also an immune connection. The body uses protein to build and repair immune cells. Low intake can quietly reduce resilience over time. Healing takes longer. Recovery feels slower. Small illnesses can linger more than they used to. Another area protein influences is mental steadiness. Amino acids support neurotransmitters involved in focus and mood. When protein is too low, mental fatigue can increase. You might notice more brain fog than before, or difficulty concentrating late in the day. Those experiences are often linked to nutritional steadiness. Have you ever felt full but not truly nourished? That distinction matters more after 60. Fullness is a sensation, nourishment is a process. And meals can look balanced but still fall short, especially when they rely heavily on carbohydrates or light foods. Protein tends to be the first thing reduced when appetite is low. Low protein doesn't usually feel dramatic at first. It feels like subtle decline, and that's what makes it easy to miss. There's a familiar moment many people share. They eat what seems like a healthy lunch, then struggle through the afternoon. Not exhausted, just less capable than they expect to be. That experience isn't about effort, it's about support. The body is asking for more building material. Protein acts like reinforcement. It doesn't just fuel the moment, it supports what comes next. Without enough of it, the body works harder to maintain the same output. After 60, protein needs often stay the same or increase slightly, but appetite and portion sizes tend to decrease. That's where the imbalance forms. This doesn't mean eating large portions or forcing meals. It means protein needs to be more intentional. Delivery matters more than volume. Smaller amounts spread throughout the day often work better. The body processes them more efficiently. Energy stays steadier as a result. Have you noticed that days feel easier when meals feel more grounding? That grounding often comes from adequate protein. It stabilizes both physical and mental energy. Another quiet effect of low protein is slower recovery. Muscles feel sore longer after normal activity. Fatigue lingers after simple tasks. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of insufficient repair support. Protein helps the body rebuild what daily life uses up. There's also a connection to posture and movement confidence. Muscle strength supports joint stability. Without it, movement can feel hesitant. That hesitation doesn't always feel like pain. It feels like uncertainty. And uncertainty affects confidence. Protein supports that confidence indirectly by maintaining muscle tone and responsiveness. It helps the body feel more reliable. Meals that look healthy often emphasize fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Those foods are valuable, but without enough protein, they don't provide complete support. This is where many people get stuck. They're doing what they've been told is right, but their body is asking for a small adjustment. Have you ever felt frustrated when healthy habits didn't produce steady results? That frustration is understandable. It doesn't mean you're failing. It means the body's priorities have shifted, and after 60, preservation matters as much as nourishment. Protein plays a central role in that preservation. Low protein intake doesn't cause sudden decline. It contributes to gradual erosion, and gradual changes are harder to notice. That's why awareness is so important. Recognizing the signs early allows gentle correction. No drastic changes are required. Protein doesn't need to dominate your meals. It needs to anchor them, and even modest additions can change how a meal feels. This anchoring effect slows digestion. It steadies blood sugar. It supports strength maintenance. Another major benefit of adequate protein is appetite regulation. Protein helps signal fullness more effectively. That can actually make smaller meals feel more satisfying. When protein is too low, people often snack more, not from hunger but from instability, and the body is trying to compensate. Have you noticed reaching for snacks even after eating? That can be a protein signal. Instead of more food, the body is seeking balance. There's also an emotional component. When energy is low, motivation drops. Daily tasks feel heavier. Adequate protein supports emotional steadiness by stabilizing energy. When energy is predictable, stress feels more manageable, and confidence follows. And over time, consistent protein intake supports independence. It helps preserve the ability to move, lift, and recover. Those abilities shape quality of life. Low protein doesn't announce itself as a problem, it quietly limits capacity, and that's why it's often overlooked. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still falling short? That feeling deserves compassion. The body's needs change, and guidance doesn't always keep up. When we consider the full landscape of our lives, we realize that independence is not a single achievement, but a collection of small, quiet victories. It is the ability to walk through the grocery store without searching for a place to sit. It is the confidence to reach for something on a high shelf, or to spend an afternoon in the garden without dreading the fatigue that might follow. We often take these moments for granted until they begin to feel heavy, but there is a profound peace that comes when we provide our bodies with the specific resources they need to keep those doors open. Nourishment is the silent partner of our freedom. When we prioritize protein, we aren't just following a dietary guideline, we are investing in our future ability to show up for the people and the hobbies we love. It is an act of looking forward with a sense of possibility, knowing that while we cannot stop the clock, we can certainly choose how we support the vessel that carries us through it. This isn't about perfection or tracking numbers, it's about noticing patterns and responding with care. Protein needs don't disappear with age. They become easier to miss and easier to underestimate. As awareness grows, adjustments feel simpler, meals feel more supportive, energy becomes more reliable. That reliability matters after 60. It supports confidence and independence, and it reduces daily strain. When protein intake improves, many people notice subtle shifts, less fatigue, better recovery. Those shifts don't feel dramatic, they feel reassuring, like the body is finally being heard. Have you noticed how relief comes when something finally makes sense? That relief builds trust, and trust supports consistency. Protein isn't about building bulk, it's about maintaining what you already have: strength, steadiness, and resilience. Meals that look healthy can still fall short, not because they're wrong, but because they're incomplete. Completeness after 60 looks different. It prioritizes support over appearance and function over rules. Low protein is one of the most common overlooked gaps, but it's also one of the easiest to address gently. Awareness is the first step. As you reflect on your own meals, one question may help. Do my meals help me feel steady or just full? That distinction guides better choices. Protein doesn't need to be the star, it needs to be present, and consistency matters more than perfection. And over time, this approach supports longevity. Not just years lived, but quality of life. Strength makes daily life feel possible. Low protein doesn't mean failure, it means the body is asking for reinforcement, and that request is worth listening to. As understanding settles in, food feels less confusing, choices feel clearer, support replaces uncertainty. Protein has always mattered, but after 60, its role becomes quieter and more essential, and recognizing that changes everything. Every day is another chance to care for the body that's carried you this far. Keep learning, keep moving, keep believing in your own strength, because aging isn't slowing down, it's leveling up. If today's message resonated, take a moment to subscribe, leave a thought in the comments, or share this video with someone who could use a little encouragement. Because together, we're proving that aging well isn't the exception, it's the standard.